There's some people ask me if I'm really a cowboy, and I'm really not. I'm just kind of a cowboy wannabe, and I grew up on all that old great music, and I always loved the old radio programs and the old B westerns. But I loved Western history and those kinds of things. And one of my favorite old cowboy poets is a fellow called Red Steagall, and I'm sure you probably have heard of him. He's written a bunch of songs and been a recording artist for a long time, and he wrote a poem about cowboys called The Fence That Me and Shorty Built, and I'll do that one for you. This is one that references the fact that most time cowboys don't like to do any kind of work that can't be done from a horse. They don't like to get off of their horse and do anything. They want to stay in the saddle all the time. So if it comes to building a windmill or something like that, they don't want to do that. They want to stay on the horse. But this is the one about building a fence. We picked up all of our fencing tools and our staples off the road, and that extra roll of barbed wire was the last thing left to load. I drew a sleeve across my face and I wiped away the dirt. And the young fellow that was helping me was tucking in his shirt, and I turned around and I said to him, "You know, our fence work's finally done. We've got 5 new strands of barbed wire stretched out proudly in the sun, and each strand is stretched out straight and tight, and each post is right in line. Well, it's the kind of job that'll make you proud, a job that stands the test of time." Well, the kid was not impressed at all. He just stared off into space and reminded me of another time, perhaps another place, when I called myself a cowboy. Well, I was full of buck and ball, and I didn't think that these hands would fit a post auger in a mall. And they put me on with Shorty and this here ranch fence building crew. I was quite insulted, and before the day was through, I told them, I said, "I'm a cowboy, and this here ain't what I do." Well, I was mad, and I was digging post holes faster than a Georgia mole. But now if a rock got in the way, well, I simply moved the hole. So when the cowboys set the post, the line sort of run in and out, and boy, Shorty's face got fiery red, and I could still hear him shout. He said, "Nobody but a fool would build a fence that isn't straight, and I'll not tolerate a man that will not pull his weight." Well, I thought he was going to kill me, and I'm sure glad he didn't have a gun. And I looked to see if I could find a place where I could duck and run. But, you know, Shorty came over to me just as calm as he could be. He said, "Young feller, I need to talk to you." He said, "Let's just find ourselves a tree." Well, he rolled him a Bull Durham cigarette, and he sat down on the ground. He took himself a puff or two and slowly turned around and said, "You know, I ain't much on schooling. I didn't get too far with that, but I got an awful lot of learning stuck up underneath this here old hat. And I got it all the hard way, every bump and bruise and fall. And some of it was easy, but now most weren't fun at all. But there's one thing I've learned about nearly every job I've done, and that's do the best you can each day and try to make it fun. Now, I know busting through these rocks ain't what you like to do, but by getting mad, you've made it tough on me and all the crew. Or you hired on the cowboy. You said you had the stuff. You told him you was top hand. Now the boss has called you bluff, and what's it going to look like when he comes riding through and he asks me who dug these holes, and I got to tell him that it was you? Well, we can let it go like that and take the easy route, but doing things the easy way ain't what it's all about. The boss deserves a job well done from every man he's hired. Well, he'll let you slide by once or twice, and then one day you'll get fired. And if you ain't proud of what you do, you won't amount to much, and you'll bounce around from job to job just slightly out of touch. So come morning, let's redig these holes, get these posts in line. That way you'll be saving 2 jobs, that being yours and mine. And one day you'll come riding through and you'll gaze across this land and you'll see a fence that's stretched out straight, and you'll be proud you had a hand in something that's withstood the years, and proud and free from guilt. You'll turn and say, "Now boys, right there's a fence that me and old Shorty built."